Hey guys, what's up? It's Nick from That Student Life Australia, and today we're going to be starting part of a mini-series titled The Week Before an Exam. And in this series we're going to sort of step-by-step go through the 7 days previous to when your exam block starts. What you should be doing, what you could be doing to improve your grades and your marks. Check it out. Alright, so let's imagine it is the Monday, 1 week prior before an exam block starts on the next Monday. Okay, so starting this Monday, there's a few things I want to have ticked off on my little checklist. The first thing is memory loading. So filling up your brain with the information necessary for you to reproduce it on the test. So in the same way that a computer takes a little bit of a while to load all the information before it can give you what you want, it's the same with your brain in an exam. You have to give your brain that little bit of time the week before to load the information up in order to do the task that you want to do. Take English for example. It's usually at the start of an exam block, the first 2 days, and that is a ton of information to remember. It's just something that you can't do the night before. If you do some of the sciences, usually you have a science in that first week as well, and possibly a maths exam. So it's an insane amount to have in your mind by just going through the night before. So it's important to start early and use these tips and tricks to get you there. So I thought the best way to explain to you guys what to do in terms of helping remember things prior to an exam, starting on the Monday, the week before, was to show you what my setup would look like a week prior to an exam. So let's go check it out. Alright, so let's pretend it's Monday before the exam. I'm going to walk you through what my setup in my room was like and what I actually did in order to memorize all the information I need to memorize just a little bit quicker. So first things first, just over in this isolated section of the bedroom, I had all of my summaries laid out in the order of subject. So for example, I had some maths working sort of over here from past papers. I had all of my biology summaries in the one place. That was them sort of all through there. I then had chemistry. I then had religion as well. English essays I tended to keep more on a computer, and I like to read them in electronic form, so I could take it on my phone, listen to it, do whatever with it. It was just a little bit easier to memorize those things in that way. So there's a very deliberate mechanism by which I remembered big chunks of information for corresponding subjects during HSE time or leading up to an exam in my HSE year. And I would go over to this pile of summaries that you just saw, and I would pick up a summary. Say for example we're going to do some chemistry, so let's go over, let's pick up one from the chemistry pile. This topic is production of materials. I would simply read through it. I'd give myself 40 minutes to read the entire summary back to front, enough to know it all, so I'd have a bit of a flick through. Alright, and once I was confident that I had read through it with enough detail and enough effort to actually sort of synthesize this information, I would then go just to my left over here and I would grab a big pile of flashcards. Now you can buy these at like your local newsagent, and I just got a big chunk of flashcards, and what I would do, I would go back through that summary, and with the dot points from the syllabus which I summarise my information on, I would make a flashcard for each corresponding dot point, and that was straight off my summary and straight onto a flashcard. I would do it by hand, so I had to actually write them out. Now that did two very specific things. So one of those things was it gave me a very useful and important study tool, and that was a flashcard, a way that you can trigger your memory to remember big chunks of information a little bit easier. So it's proven that flashcards are great for remembering things. But the other thing that a lot of people aren't aware of that make flashcards on the computer or by however else, maybe they come in a textbook, is that by me writing these flashcards out from this information summary, I basically had to transfer that information. I had to synthesize it enough to understand it enough to ask myself a question on a flashcard and then provide the answer on the back. So basically, I've read my summary and then I've had to synthesize it even more by making flashcards on it. And basically I did this for all of the sciences that I did as well as religion. Worked really well. I had to learn the information enough to know the summary, and then I had to write flashcards on it. The information was pretty much drilled into my head whether I liked it or not. So in the mornings, in the week before the exam, obviously this video is based on the Monday, you want to probably hit out about two reads of a summary. So, sorry, what I mean to say is you want to read two summaries in the morning. So, for example, you might read one topic on biology and one topic on chemistry. Other than that, you start to run out of time a little bit. That should probably be like an hour's work, and maybe you can make flashcards on one of those in the morning. Best way to manage your time in that scenario is to grab yourself a diary or anything else in which you can write a checklist and just have little timed increments of what you want to do. So, for example, from 6 till 7, I'm going to do chemistry, and then from 7 till 8, I'm going to do biology. Alright, and for subjects like English and maths as well, the memorizing techniques are a little bit different. Maths, I found the best way was just to go through your classwork and pick out the important formulas and sort of memorize those. But to become really good at maths, you really have to do a lot of work. So past papers is definitely the best option for your maths. For English, you have to take a little bit of a different approach. You do have to remember a lot more information, and as such, I think it's really important to have a few different platforms to remember that information by. So record yourself saying the essays on your phone, listen to it on the way to school, have a read of it every morning and every night before you go to sleep. And another good way is to just write them out. By writing them out, it helps it sink into your mind just a little bit better, and you're actually showing to yourself that you can reproduce these things from memory. So that is the end of this episode of what to do the week before an exam, and this episode was based on the Monday, and my best tip is to start reading and memorizing all of your summaries, and we're going to do that by having those summaries laid out in a pretty orderly fashion so it's easily accessible to you, reading through it, then making flashcards on it. That's a really effective method I found for actually synthesizing and remembering a whole heap of information. So give it a go, let me know in the comment section if it works for you, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's episode. Thanks for watching, guys. Cheers.